Everybody's talking at the comic spot. The comic spot. The comic spot. Everybody's talking at the comic spot. The comic spot.
So here we are, Facebook land. Look who we got today. This hysterical guy has been posting on the Facebook. Kene Zen. Hi, Kenny.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. They'll be on later, trust me. They like to troll after the fact.
That's cool. I'm not too used to being in the front, so that's fine. They can find me later. That's cool.
Yeah. So you hail from the state of Maryland. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, from Baltimore, Maryland.
I love.
Currently living in Hermosa Beach.
So Baltimore, Maryland is where the Star Spangled Banner came from, at Fort McHenry.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I was in the military, and my first sergeant was from Baltimore, so I went to visit him and his family after getting out of the military.
Really? How did you like it?
I love the military, and I love Baltimore. I love all the Anne Frank houses.
Yeah. That's funny. Baltimore has a lot of character. A lot of character.
Yes.
It's just a big town that happened to do a lot of big things, but it's a very unique place to grow up.
Yes. Yes. I think that a lot of really strong people come out of places where they're jammed together and they're trying to make do. And I've met people with the best of characters from Baltimore, you know?
That is true. That is true. A lot of people say if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. I'm not so true about that, but if you can really stand on your own in Baltimore, you can go anywhere else and really be successful and really enjoy your life, because it's just so many different things that happen in that small town that pretty much prepare you for bigger things. So when you step out and go to places, it's kind of like, oh, I'm comfortable. You don't really have a freak out moment because you're used to dealing with a lot of different things. So.
Take me through your childhood in Baltimore up to the point where you went into college and writing. You were writing for an entertainment company and then into comedy. I want to know all about you. Start at the beginning.
The beginning. I don't even know. I guess, I was, raised in a pretty decent, I guess you would say, an upper middle class family, maybe a little more than upper middle class, a little uncomfortable sometimes, saying that, because coming from that era, it's usually put out that, most, black people were, barely making it or struggling or, really didn't understand how certain things worked. And that just wasn't the case for me or the people that I knew that I grew up with. We didn't, have those downtrodden, situations. I came from a two-parent home. My parents had cars, they had careers, my grandparents owned stuff. So I was used to what people would say the American dream was, and we were living it. So
Wow.
I guess for me,
That's great.
I was more attracted to the dangerous stuff, and because of the information that my grandparents, I was raised by my grandparents majority of the time, because my parents worked a lot.
Uh-huh.
So they shared with us a lot of different stories. And so I was already, by the time I went to school, I was already trained to be a certain way. And of course, when you go to school, they want everybody to be this other way. And I wasn't used to that. So I fought a lot. And that just built up this warrior type mentality in me. And I pretty much kind of gravitated towards what you would call the bad boys or the bad girls. I cut school a lot. I ran away from home a lot. And I got to see a lot of different things, and those things seemed more attractive to me than to just this cookie cutter situation that I see my parents in, that I see my uncles in. I didn't really want that. I wanted something more exciting.
Yes.
So I guess by the time middle school came around, junior high, I was pretty much running the streets. I was hanging out, I was selling candy. I had family members that owned stores, so I would go steal candy from them, and when I go to school, I'd sell candy, and I'd make money, and I would do all kinds of crazy stuff. And I got caught up in a very wild crowd and got into trouble faced a huge amount of time, and that kind of galvanized my warrior spirit, because I was able to come out of it without doing any time. So that almost made me feel invincible. So that pushed me to like a whole other level. But at the same time, rap music was starting to take off, and because of how I was able to navigate through these two worlds, I became like a promoter and a producer of different hip hop acts at the time.
Wow.
From there, we started doing shows, and I got caught up in publishing, helping artists kind of market their music in a way where when they went to a company, they wouldn't just be given something they would accept it. They would already know what their value was, and they could, talk from a business perspective instead of a please help me, I want to be on the radio type of thing. So that kind of evolved into other things. I was in the music business for, I don't know, I guess about 30 years or so.
Wow.
And I got caught up in some stuff, and I had to stop dealing with the music business. A partner of mine had passed away, and that kind of threw everything into flux. And at the same time, I was going through some legal troubles. I'm trying to keep it as innocuous as possible. I got some legal issues, and the music business was no longer something that I could do. And so for a few years, I kind of solved it. You got odd jobs. I was raising kids at the same time. And then I got this wild idea, maybe I'll be a comedian. And just kind of investigating and really studying the different people that were doing comedy at the time. And I realized, maybe that's not what I want to do. But I love the bravery of comedians. You get in front of a crowd, and it's just you and your thoughts and a microphone. And it's like instant. Either the joke hits or it doesn't. And just because it doesn't hit on one stage, it might hit on the next stage. So it really takes a lot of bravery, a lot of work to really become a true comedian. A lot of these comedians, or people who profess to be comedians, without going through that trial and error of trying your jokes, and you're getting upset because that one joke really hit last night, and you're going to try it again, a crowd is kind of the same, and it just goes off for whatever reason. And being able to be brave enough to keep going, that just takes a lot. And so for me, it was like, I know I can't join that rank, but I can at least be a facilitator, like promote shows or produce shows. So once I moved to California, I had the opportunity of producing a clean comedy show at an Ethiopian club, an Ethiopian restaurant, and that was wonderful, getting to meet a lot of different comedians with different, aspects and different ways of looking at life, and it was really a very cool experience. So that's pretty much, where I am now.
Yes.
I'll really go into detail.
I love that. So the reason that you decided to go and try comedy is you were kind of out in front with the rap artists anyway.
Yeah, it was something. I'm more of an empowering person. I know a lot of stuff, and I've been through a lot of things. And if I can help people avoid going through some of the things that I went through, it just makes it easier. And I'm used to being the only person doing certain things, and that gets boring after a while. You want to have people around you that are successful, and you can kind of vibe off of each other instead of you being the only person doing these wonderful things and everybody else locked into this job. They wish they could do these things. I'd like to be around people who are creative and really take that risk, because it is a huge reward. It is a huge risk, but when you pull it off, regardless of the money or regardless of what you attain, just pulling that off is really a big feather in your cap. It really gives you the confidence to just really handle life without freaking out every time something goes left. So that's why I really deal with comedians. I really love the bravery. You guys really just do a lot with just your thoughts, and it's kind of crazy to see, especially when you see a first-time comic get up in front of a microphone and their jokes start to work, and you can see that doubt and that fear starts to wash off of them, and they get confident and really start to step into their thing, and you just get proud. It's just a happy moment. It's almost like watching your child go from crawling to walking to running and then just being vibrant. It's kind of the same feeling.
Yes.
But kindness.
So are you presently doing comedy? Because you're so hysterical on Facebook all the time.
Well, it's easy to do it on Facebook. I don't know if I'm that great to get in front of a microphone and say it, but I definitely like providing the space for other people who want to do that to do that.
Yes.
So and I'm more of a behind the scenes person. I can get a lot more done if I'm working doing 6-7 different things versus if you're in the front, then your only focus is the front. And that gets boring after a while. I like the chaos that goes behind the scenes. You can't go on stage with that chaos. It'll be crazy. So I like to be a person that handles that chaos stuff while other people get to do their thing. And then, it comes together and really, help everybody else to have a good time.
So do you promote comedians or do you put together shows? What's your scenario?
I do both. I haven't done a show in about a year or so. And that's only because I'm more of an opportunist. I'm not a person that's going to kind of pave the way for something. I'm tired of doing that. You hurt your head banging against walls. I'm tired of. So it's easier if somebody presents me with an opportunity, and if I'm available to help, then I'll do it. But yeah, I usually either promote a comedian because you just want people to enjoy. And life is just a lot easier and a lot more fulfilling when you enjoy versus just being grumbly all the time. It's just so horrible existence.
Yes.
So, and I know how to put on shows. A lot of people don't. I know how to promote. It takes a lot of work. I like that tedious day-to-day working, trying to put things together. And a lot of artists just don't have the focus to do it. It takes a lot of focus to do it. And you can't do that. It's very difficult to be your own promoter. You want to promote and you got to work on your craft and you got to get other people to come out and that's a lot. There's a reason why it's a team.
I agree.
Everybody gets to do their own role. So, and I like being a part that's behind the scenes and taking care of what you call the dirty work so that the artists can get out and just focus their attention and energy on being funny.
Yes, a lot of us have OCD and ADD and ADHD and depression, and we're trying to put together a show and make flyers, and so to have.
And you miss something. There's no way you're going to catch everything. So if it's just one more person, that helps. If it's two more people, that's even better. But it's just about really everybody doing their role and supporting each other so that everybody wins.
I love it. So. What's the funniest thing you've ever seen happen on a comedy stage? Where did you go? There you are.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know how that happened. What's the funniest thing you've ever... Yeah.
The funniest thing, there was this show at the Hollywood Improv about maybe 4 years ago that was called The Midnight Snack. And it had a comedian from Baltimore, a guy named... what is his name? I'm missing it. But he actually writes for a cartoon called F is for Family.
F is for Family?
That's his name. Josh Adam Myers is his name.
Okay.
And he had a guy with him with Jeremiah Watkins, which is a part of the comedy roast that they put on the roast battles. Jeremiah is part of that. And he had a guy named Aubrey that played piano. So they did like a musical comedy thing. They told jokes, but we went to it like every Saturday night. It started like around 11:30, and it went to like 1, and they would do some of the craziest, outrageous things that you can't even mention in polite company. But it was just so funny and so brave that you just loved to see it, and you didn't expect anything from it because it was the end of the night. And I guess it was just something that the Hollywood Improv did. Just to get people to buy drinks. But it was a very fun, and you would see the Dane Cook drop in. You could see anybody who was really hot at the time, you would see drop in because it was a place where people could work out their situations without being, all right, well, I need you to do this joke, or I need you to do that joke. You could just work on stuff and not worry about how it's going to hit or not.
Yes.
And I like seeing that when people are just trying to work it out, just really just digging deep. And to me, that's the funniest. Just really watching people go through things and things hit in a way that they're not expecting, or they'll break out laughing in the middle of a joke. To get specific, it's just too many funny moments on stage that I can't really pull. But for me, that was like the most fun I've had on a continuous basis outside of my show.
Yes, tell me about the shows you put on.
Well, I had an opportunity to do a comedy show because the guy that was running this bar was close friends with me and my family, and we're looking for things to do to kind of, fill the bar. and my girlfriend's daughter was actually an assistant to a big booker and a big promoter in Los Angeles at the time, and she wanted to do her own show. So we kind of took her idea and ran with it when I got the opportunity. It was a family restaurant, so it had to be clean. So we just wanted to reach out to people just to have them be funny. And we were also in the middle of writing scripts and stuff. So if something we heard might fit in what we would do, then we would match up with the comedians. It was just like a networking thing where we could meet comedians and, work on stuff. And it ended up lasting for about a year. And it was, like I said, it was at an Ethiopian restaurant, which was strange to most people, but they were very hospitable. They really went beyond to really help us be successful. And, the comedians, to me, it's just about the comedians having a good time. And every show, every comedian said, I don't know if they just blowing smoke. I don't know. I'm in the music industry, and we tell the truth most of the time, not all of the time. Some business is a little bit different. They tell the truth a little bit of the time, and they blow smoke up your butt the rest of the time. But most people enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was fun to be a part of that. I'm kind of a neurotic. I like things to be a certain way. So being behind the scenes just really helped me deal with that. And even though usually I would feel sick at the beginning of every show just because you get these ideas of maybe this isn't going to work. The sound might go out. The mic might go out. This person might not be funny. Am I going to be able to pull them off stage? Am I going to have to punch somebody in the mouth because they didn't do this? All these things going in my head at the same time, but I'm enjoying it as it goes. It's the weirdest thing. But I like putting things on, and it was fun to do. And it ended, and I was just like, you know what? The next step is just to open up my own spot. And we've been working towards doing that. But of course, the pandemic hit, and we got to see what happens after this to really map out how to open up a spot and make it successful and comfortable, especially with people of our age. It's kind of like they forget us once we become parents. It's like, no, we don't care about your money when it's our money really funding everything.
Yes.
Our focus is to have entertainment for people 40 and over, people who don't have to fit, you don't have to act young anymore or act like your parents. It'll be something geared towards what we like, the things that we like and how we like them displayed. So
I love that. I know there's quite a few comedians here in Vegas who want to start up comedy for people of a certain age. Mm-hmm. Because the audience, you get it.
Right. Yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, it's hard to, because we've been trained that we need to focus on a specific group. But I mean, if it's good, it really doesn't matter. What we just have to learn how not to do is to cave in our integrity for money. A lot of times, a lot of these places start as venues for people of a certain age, but they start making a whole bunch of money, and they're like, well, I can make even more money if I open up to these people. But you can have it open up to everyone and have a set standard. Look, these are the standards for you to get in here and to continue coming. If you don't meet these standards, then I don't care how much money you pay, you can't come in. And so that's more of my objective, is just that it's geared towards people our age, just because we get neglected until it's time to put us in a home or put us in a hole somewhere.
Yes.
But before we get to that point, we like to have fun. We're the original generation that had fun.
Yes.
Why are we getting neglected? We the ones who taught y'all how to have fun.
We paved the way so that you could.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, speak about your writing experience. Do you want to?
It's I'm gonna say something comfortable. I've just never spoken of it.
Yeah?
Nobody's ever asked me about it. No one has ever, because I'm a behind the scenes person. I have a lot of skeletons. So for me to speak, a bone might pop out, or a body might pop out. So a lot of the times I don't speak about it because, it's a street code. You don't speak on things that you don't necessarily have to speak on. So you navigate that as you want to. You want to explain yourself without incriminating yourself.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that the new techniques that I'm working on, being comfortable saying certain things to people. That I did these things, and yes, I was there when they recorded this. But as just my own comfort level with things that I've done. I'm not a person that is accepting of compliments. I can compliment people, but for me to receive a compliment is kind of like, I feel weird about it. But the writing started when hip hop was young. I was very into writing and rhyming, so I rhymed a lot. I wrote rhymes for a lot of different people. So that just grew into, you want your own stories. And I can remember writing a story about being the first black person on Mars, or, first woman to do this, and just from different perspectives. And that just grew. People heard about it, and, hey, could you help me work on this? Could you help me work on that? And, I never thought of it as anything significant. You just helping people out. And for me, my attachment has never been about how much money I can make, because I can make money. That's easy. It's about the enjoyment. I've made a ton of money, and I've been horribly miserable, to the point I can remember being outside of a house that I paid an incredible amount of money for, and married to a woman that used to be beautiful, but at that point was not, and just sitting in front of the house like, how did I get here? Like that Once in a Lifetime song by the Talking Heads. Like, how did I get here? What did I do? Where did I make the left turn? Where now all of a sudden I don't recognize anything, and I don't want that feeling again. And so it's just all about the joy. And some of those things I didn't really enjoy them. I just did them because I was doing them. So now it's just about, what are we doing now? What are we doing to push our enjoyment now? So it's going to take me a while to get to talking about, because I got stories about incredibly famous people. I know very ridiculous things about certain people, and sometimes it comes out, sometimes it does, and I'm just not comfortable talking about it.
Yes.
But that's just my own personal thing.
Yes, I get it. I get it a lot. I think a lot of your, everything you say resonates with me on different levels, like being a person that got into trouble a lot and was able to get into more trouble because you never got caught. I totally relate to that. And, I'm an open book, but I totally respect where you're coming from, and that's awesome. I want to switch gears and talk about the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So you're in LA. What do you see going on with the pandemic there? I'm in Vegas. It's a ghost town, and there's no sin here all of a sudden for a month. Nobody's sinning.
Yikes.
It's supposed to be Sin City.
What's Vegas without sinning? That's just crazy.
Thank you.
That's Reno, I guess. A lot of the people that I see pretty much are abiding by what the governor has said, as far as the social distancing and wearing masks and stuff like that. So where I'm at, it seems like people are really getting. I live close to the beach, so a lot of people have been trying to go to the beach, but police officers have been clearing the beach to make sure people aren't congregating. Even if it's just one person, because they know that if it's one, then another person say, well, shoot, I can go down there, and then it'll be 6, 20, 1,000. So the law enforcement and the frontline workers are really putting in that work to make sure people are staying safe. So where I'm at, it looks like it's working.
Good. Not so much here in Vegas. I see far too many people going out without any masks.
Really? See, here, they don't necessarily need a mask. And honestly, for me, outside, unless you're going to meet with somebody, which you shouldn't be, I don't see the point. But if you're going into an establishment, you should wear a mask, just because you don't know what you're carrying, or we really don't have a clear idea of how this thing transmits. It seems like every other day there's a whole other theory on how this thing spreads. So until they get an idea, in which they probably won't, and because they're inadequate in how they give out this information, it's going back and forth. You got people tired of these things, and it doesn't seem like it's working. You just have to do your due diligence for you and the people that you care about.
Yes.
I think it's more on our home and making sure we don't get the people that we live with sick, and everybody does that, then that will alleviate people being concerned about whether or not you do this or do that. I'm not concerned about what somebody else does, because I'm going to do what I need to do to protect me and my family. I'm not going to tell you you need to do this and do that, because I'm doing it. If you don't do it, then I just avoid you. It's just that simple. I'm not going to go back and forth with you about what you should be doing. I'm just going to do it.
That's great. That's awesome. So how has the pandemic made you rethink your life, your goals, and how are you going to come out of it a better person?
Because I've dealt with crisis, majority of my life. This is just like one more thing to kind of solidify my belief in joy, my belief in helping other people. And it's great at this point that people get to see not just, the pandemic is what it is, but it becomes a problem because of the inadequacies and how much faith we put into these people that don't deserve it, or these systems that don't deserve this kind of faith. And we really need to look at how we can make these things more humanistic, that include everyone.
Yes.
Really work to uplift everybody. If we're not going to do that, then whatever happens next is going to be 100 times worse than this, because this is our wake-up call. This is for us to get on point with whatever it is we need to get on point with, so that we can last longer on this planet. This planet's not going anywhere. We're going to be the ones that be up out of here. So we really need to take that to heart and not get back into this, the economy. The economy only works if it's people working the economy. Lions aren't going to spend money. Tigers aren't going to spend money. Humans spend money. So if you don't have humans to spend the money, there's no economy. So that whole thing, we got to get the economy running, or lives are worth less than that's just backwards thinking. You're just being greedy, and you see an opportunity for you to capitalize on how the market dropped. You get people to come back. You can make back this money that you thought you lost. All this stuff it doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
Nope.
We can't take any of this with us.
Nope.
We can't take this body with us. We can't take anything with us.
Nothing.
So it's better to just take care of where we are as we are, instead of trying we need to do this because it doesn't matter if we don't hear. It doesn't matter. So
exactly.
hopefully this really gets people, taking care of themselves first, because you can't take care of people if you don't take care of yourself. So we have to learn to really love ourselves, really take care of ourselves, really forgive ourselves for doing the best we can, because that's all we do. Even the shortcomings, it's the best we can do at that time. So hopefully we can let go of that holding on to stuff that doesn't matter anymore, and really work on the now, and really make this new now something worth talking about. When they talk about this 100 years from now, they say that's the turning point in human history.
Wow.
And people really came together and really supported each other in a real way, not in a way to capitalize on each other, but in a way that everybody can be joyful, everybody can be vibrant, everybody can get what we want out of this life. It's more than enough on this planet for everybody to get beyond their wildest dreams out of this thing. But it's too many people trying to take from other people. You don't have to take from anyone else to get what you need at all, ever.
I love that.
Who made a lot of money taking it from other people. And I can tell you, we don't get away with anything. So.
That's so true, Kenny. Hey, Kenny, our time is nearly up, but I want to ask you, where do you want traffic driven to on the internet to help your numbers? Are you that kind of guy? Do you have followers you want?
I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not that kind of guy at all. If people want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me, Kene Zen, on Facebook, on Instagram, Ken the Jeweler. You can.
What? Instagram.
Ken the Jeweler.
Ken.
Jeweler. KENTHE, and then Jeweler spelled wrong. JEWLER.
Now, why do you say Ken the Jeweler?
Well, that was pretty much the first nickname that I got, because I had so much information that I would say stuff to people, and a lot of people didn't want to listen to it. It wasn't until I started hanging around people in New York that were doing big things, and I would say stuff to them. They're like, "Oh man, that's a tool. That's a gem." And then they're like, "That's Kene the Jeweler, man. He drop knowledge all the time." So that's where.
Wow. you have dropped a lot of knowledge here. Thank you so much. I adore you. Thank you for the interview. I'll post it on Facebook and let me know if there's any typos or things that aren't correct. And if you wouldn't mind clicking share so people will see the video on your page, Kenny.
I sure will. Not a problem. I share everything anyway.
Yeah, man, you do. You make the best comments, and you've always been there for years. So I appreciate you.
You just want to facilitate. You want people to enjoy. And the easiest way to do it is to be enjoyed when you do it. That's my motto, really, is to enjoy and to be enjoyed all the time. Even when things don't go the way you want them to enjoy it and just learn from that and move on. A lot of times we try to shut the bad things out when we never learn, and those lessons keep coming back. And you wonder, why does it keep coming back? Because you're not doing what you need to do to learn what this thing is telling you and enjoy that you have that benefit. So, you know.
Wow. I was having a really rotten day today, early in the day. I had brain trauma in 96, and today, for some reason, my logic was not there. I, put out the wrong times of schedule, and somebody was talking to me about their hockey career, and I mentioned soccer, and people think that if you're old, that's just, but I've been doing these kind of errors since I was 45 with the brain trauma, and today was a rough day, but all your little jewels that you dropped and you being on here turned a very less than average day around. So thank you so much, Kenny.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm very happy that was what you got out of this interview. I really like empowering people and want people to be happy all the time. So
you inspired me to
go by easier. So.
You really inspired me. Thank you so much, Kenny the jeweler.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.
Love it. Talk to you later on Facebook.
Okay.
Okay.
On Facebook.
Bye. Love you.